Hi everyone, this is astrologer Hassan Jaffer, and although I've done comprehensive analysis, I thought I'll quickly put in something about Oscar Pistorius and also his beautiful model Reeves about their chart. So here's Oscar's chart. I think he actually has Aquarius rising, not Leo rising, but we don't really have the time of birth, but I'm just going to go just by the chart itself. Now, it's interesting, a real top athlete is a wide Mars-Jupiter conjunction, it's out of sign conjunction. Most Olympic athletes are born with that, actually. And he's a Sag, with Saturn and Uranus also in Sagittarius, makes a person more humanitarian and philosophical, etc. But the important thing is that he has Pluto, Mercury, Venus, and all in the sign of Scorpio, and all of them, especially Pluto, squared to Moon. Moon being the sign of Leo. Of course, this is what gives a certain charisma of a person, but also the limelight. And he's quite humanitarian. He has Jupiter in the sign of Pisces, actually very good for helping the children and old people and anyone who is downtrodden. He likes to save people, that's for sure. However, it's the intensity of Bruce Lee. There's a certain demonic intensity about this chart. The same thing which makes him extremely successful in what he did as this Blade Runner, and being not paraplegic, a double amputee, etc. All these things. This is part of a mission in a person's life when you have Pluto Mercury or Pluto Moon aspect. But he is born with both of them in a very controlling manner. He must be an extremely controlling person, very good for research and dig up information, but also when he goes after somebody, it's the same theme. So the person can be very mild, very gentle, but this is definitely not a normal, peaceful type of person. This is an intensely jealous person, and Ted Bundy was born with Venus and Scorpio. Many people who have Venus and Scorpio is not the best placement anyways, but when you put it right next to Pluto, which rules the sign of Scorpio, makes it even more intense. And I'm quite positive he was quite jealous of that other football player, and the fact that he may have tweeted it at Twitter, or put a message in the iPad at in the early morning or something on Valentine's, that may have triggered it off. Now, Scorpio is also an aspect of and the fact that she was also for the rape crisis and the women's causes and all that, and the fact that just the rape itself, that's a very strong, that same sexual connotation. He may have gone into a fight that he may have said, for example, some people, not that they really ask for it or something, he may have said something derogatory and they got into a bit of a fight, something is quite possible. But especially with that Scorpio theme, it's a very stubborn placement. Now, Pluto Mercury indicates a conscious awareness of truth, but in a negative way. It's a very adverse aspect. Same thing with the Pluto Moon aspect, it's a subconscious awareness of truth. Both aspects, just one aspect can make a person like a real dictator, but having both of them makes it even more difficult. Like, for example, people like George Bush, United States chart itself has a Mercury-Pluto opposition. When you have blood on your hands, or 1.2 million tons of bombs in Iraq, where 50% of the population was less than the age of 15 or so, that is part of that Mercury. But even Clinton has this aspect, and so George Bush, Boris Yeltsin, Reagan, every dictator is born with that. Now, Clinton is more like a benevolent dictator. His wife, of course, would have been a real dictator. I hope she doesn't come in as president. She does have a chance. But so this Pluto Moon and Pluto Mercury aspect both, and in the sign of Scorpio, it's a very vindictive, vengeful aspect. But I do feel that, of course, he absolutely loved her with all his life, and he definitely not only feels remorse, for example, but he's going through a major depression because Saturn is touching off this whole package right now. Saturn is touching off his Mercury, his Venus, so the loss of love, and also touching off the Moon, which is the major depression aspect in this case. Now, from June onwards, Jupiter touches off his Venus and Mercury and Moon, so there's some luck element, you might say. And now by transit, as you can see, that Saturn was touching off his Mercury. It's possible there's some miscommunication, etc., but I really, really doubt it. And the fact that I think she was running away from him, and if he would normally immediately, he was sleeping with her, she was in his bed, and there's no way he wouldn't have known that she's right with him at that time. And he just go to the washroom and just start shooting someone. Doesn't make sense at all.